welcome to Unit 1 of this module. And in Unit 1, we are looking at the forms of teacher knowledge and introduction. And in the 5th session of Unit 1, we'll be looking at the typical knowledge base of the physics teacher. My name is Patrick Ejay. Now, for successful completion of this session, you should be able to describe the typical knowledge base of the physics teacher and state the uses and importance of the typical knowledge base of the physics teacher. Now, for you as a physics teacher to be able to teach the various concepts in the physics curriculum well, there are some basic knowledge and skills that you require. And these basic knowledge and skills that you require in order to enhance your effective and efficient teaching of the various concepts is what is being referred to as the typical knowledge base that you require. And this typical knowledge base that you require in order to enhance effective teaching and learning of physics include the following. And one is knowledge of physics and allied sciences. And you as a physics teacher must have a broad knowledge of physics and the related subject areas. So you must have knowledge in chemistry, you must have knowledge in mathematics, knowledge in various engineering concepts. You shouldn't be a teacher who only understands some basic concepts in physics, but you must have a broad knowledge in all these areas as well. And secondly, you must have knowledge of applied physics so that anytime you teach, you are able to relate the various concepts that are being taught to their application. You can only relate concepts taught in physics to their application when you have knowledge about how physics is being applied in the real world situation. You must also have knowledge of the curriculum. And we must understand that it is you, the teacher, who translates curriculum goals and objectives into learning experiences that will be acquired by the learner in the classroom. And so your knowledge about the curriculum, what are the aims of the curriculum, what are the goals, what are the objectives stipulated in the curriculum, these are the things that will influence the various concepts that you teach in the physics classroom. You must also have an understanding of what science literate means. So that when we say somebody is science literate, what does it mean? This person must be somebody who is able to apply the various scientific concepts in solving real life situations, real life problems, And to be a science literate, it means that any problem that you encounter, you have to look at the problem from several or different perspectives, so that these different perspectives through which you see the problem will also help you to generate answers from different angles to solve that problem. You must also have an understanding of students. Know that in the classroom we have diverse students in the classroom. We have students who are fast learners, students who are slow learners. We have the average students. All these students are in one classroom where you, the teacher, you are going to teach. And so your understanding of these diverse students in your classroom will also guide you in the various instructional strategies or approaches that you use in your teaching, so that at the end of the day, you can maximize student understanding of the various concepts that are being taught in the classroom. You must also have knowledge of student difficulties. Remember that students always come to the physics classroom with the conception that physics is a difficult subject. And you as a prospective teacher, you must understand this. You must have knowledge of the various difficulties students have in physics. Normally, students see physics as mathematics. However, it is you, the teacher, who will let the learners know that although we have several mathematical principles in physics, however, physics is not mathematics. We only apply these principles to make problems or to make it easier for us to solve problems. You must also have good communication skills. so that whatever information you may want to give to learners, this information can be clear, it can be precise, so that the learners will really understand exactly what you are trying to put across. You also need knowledge of teaching-learning relationship. Note that in the classroom, it is the teacher who will be doing the teaching, and learning takes place in the learners. And you must understand this kind of relationship that exists between teaching and learning, so that you can employ the various effective strategies that can help learners acquire or gain the knowledge that they must acquire during the teaching learning process. You also need knowledge on scientific and philosophical dispositions. And so over here, the various belief systems, the attitudes, the values that you must acquire after going through the scientific process. Now, mind you that as a physics student, one quality or one characteristic of you being a physics student is that you must be curious, you must be creative, you must be innovative in all your approaches, so that at the end of the day, you can make meaning out of the various concepts that are being taught. And learners can be creative, they can be innovative problem solvers when we let them know that there are some belief systems that you as a physics or a science student you must have. And these belief systems guide scientists in their ways of doing things. Also, social and technological context. Now, you as a physics teacher must understand that in this era where we find ourselves in the 21st century, technology is at our disposal, and we can apply various technological concepts in our classroom. We can apply technology in teaching, the use of PowerPoint presentations, the use of simulations. All these are things that technology has provided us with, and we can employ all these strategies in our teaching to enhance learning by our learners. And we must also have knowledge about the learning environment. And so in our learning environment, you being the physics teacher must be able to ensure that the classroom environment is a conducive place that will maximize student learning. Students should not come to the classroom and fear to ask questions in the class. There are instances learners will come to class and they even fear to either answer or ask questions because they find themselves in an environment that is tense. They are not free to express themselves. So you, the teacher, you must have knowledge about the learning environment so that your learning environment becomes a flexible area where learners will feel free to ask questions, express themselves, so that concepts that they are unable to understand, they will feel free to ask for clarifications in areas they find difficulties in. And active and engaged learning. Now, one characteristic of an effective teacher is you actively engaging your learners. In the 21st century, when you go to the classroom and you always make your learners passive listeners, then understand that they are going to see the subject that you teach to be boring. And so to avoid this boredomness in the classroom, you must ensure that your learners are actively participants in your teaching learning process. Engage them in activities. Don't do all the talking. Give them problems to solve. Engage them in the various activities that takes place in the classroom. And assessment and evaluation. So you must have knowledge on the various forms of assessment, formative assessment, summative assessment, when to conduct assessment, how to use information derived or obtained from evaluation. You being a prospective teacher must have knowledge on all these in order to enhance your teaching and learning in the classroom. Self-assessment and reflective practice. So you as a teacher, sometimes you must also assess yourself. Which strategies are not working? Which strategies are working well in the teaching learning process? You must do this reflective practice and self-assessment in order to know the instructional strategies that work best in teaching a concept. In teaching a particular concept, and those that did not work, so that those that work well, you will find you continue using them, and those that did not work, you find ways of improving on them. Another typical knowledge base of the physics teacher is technology teaching. And understand that in this 21st century, we have a lot of technological tools at our disposal. The use of videos, the use of simulations, the use of audios, all these are materials that can help us in our teaching. And at the end of the day, they can also maximize student learning. But you, as the teacher, you must know when to use these materials in the teaching learning process. Either than that, there may be a time you may want to use a video in your teaching, but your inability to use it well will not serve the purpose for which you introduce that material. Then, professional responsibilities. Now, understand that teaching is a profession, and for every profession, there are code of conduct that each and every individual must go by. And so you, as a teacher, you must know the code of ethics governing the teaching profession so that you can go by this code of ethics. Then responsive teaching. Also in our classrooms, we have students from diverse backgrounds, students from rich homes, students from poor homes. We have gender issues in our classrooms. Understand that physics is one of the subjects that is mostly ignored, or that is mostly done by males, unlike females. And so there are instances you enter a physics class and you will see less females. And whenever you are teaching, you shouldn't be gender biased in your classroom. When you are gender biased, what it will mean is that you are not going to have or get the full participation of all students in the classroom. And you must also have knowledge of authentic best practices. So practices such as inquiry activities, practices such as collaborative and cooperative learning, all these are best practices that are able to enhance student learning. And you, as a teacher, your knowledge about these can help you use these instructional strategies in your teaching learning process to enhance student learning. Now, what are the uses of the typical knowledge base? So, it serves as a guide for developing or reformulating physics teacher education programs. It also helps school administrators make informed hiring decisions, or prospective teacher candidates to make an informed choice about the school in which to enroll. And so, anytime school administrators may want to hire new teachers, they will consider this knowledge base. To what extent can this new teacher use technology in teaching? To what extent is this teacher responsive in his or her teaching? All these are taken into consideration before they hire you as a prospective teacher. And students also seeking the best teacher preparation program in which to enroll might also consult this knowledge base. Why do they do this? So that at the end of the day, they will find out whether this typical knowledge base is included in the education program of that particular school before they decide whether to go to that school or not. Then it can also be used by in-service teachers for self-assessment. So as a teacher, to assess yourself, you find out all the typical knowledge base that has been mentioned. Which of these areas do you find yourself doing well? And which of the areas are you not doing well? So that at the end of the day, those that you are doing well, you keep on improving on them, or you keep on holding on to the things that you do well. And those that you are not doing well, you find better ways of improving upon them. And we know that reflective practice consists of self-assessment and auto-regulation. And for that reason, in-service teachers who wish to improve their practice will compare their performance against the established standards. So once I compare my performance against what has been established, I will know whether I am improving, whether I am doing well or I am not doing well. And professional development plans can be based on any deficiencies that have been identified in comparison with this knowledge base. So when we want to do professional development programs for teachers, we can look out for the various typical knowledge areas that they are not having so that we organize programs that can help teachers to improve on this basic knowledge. Students, we have looked at the typical knowledge base of the physics teacher, and we also look at the importance of the typical knowledge base of the physics teacher. As we bring this session to an end, let us take this question. State and explain 10 typical knowledge